Seems like it. And that really sucks. Okay, there we go. Ah, now it's all happy with me. Hey, how you doing, Moody? Okay, let me send out that Discord. Ooh, I forgot to... Hold on, I forgot a thing real quick. We are adding some hands to Tucker today. That's the plan. How you doing? What are you up to? It's 2 days in a row I don't seem very confident about my notification. Yeah, it's the dishwasher. It should stop soon. I'm sorry about that. Here, I can crank this down for a minute. There we go. Is that better? Can you still hear me? Am I still coming through? It's at least now closer to the level of the music. When that shuts off, I'll turn the gain back up on the microphone. Apologies for the dishwashiness. But yeah, we're gonna add some hands today. Tucker's getting pretty close. I'm fairly happy. Okay. I feel like I'm not missing anything. I think we're... Oh, I know what I'm missing. Reach out to us. You've moved so slightly far away. Sorry. As long as I'm still audible, that's good. We'll work with that for now. I can't really split the difference. Okay, and I think we're just going to leave the keyboard up here this time. It's nice to have that cubby hole on the side, but I don't really need it. Okay. And we're going to try and figure out some hand action here. So we're going to drop down here. Time for the only thing artists fear more than the second eye. Yes. Yeah, I figured this was going to take some futzing with to get figured out, so what better time to do it than on the stream? So we're just going to be mostly... I got two hand positions I want to make. The arm that's up high, I want like kind of a lifted finger, kind of coiled position like that. And then the lower one is pretty much the same because it's still supposed to be like in a panicked position. But it's going to be a little, like, straighter, kind of like that. So one's got the lifted finger, and one's kind of more just slightly more relaxed and hanging down. But we'll see how that actually turns out in reality. Shift the camera slightly to get a little bit of a better angle on what we're doing here. Fix focus. Perfect. There we go. So I figure I just do this with a main glob for the hand and little sticks for fingers. So I'm going to break off a piece here that I'm going to roll out as thin as possible to make little sticks with. And then a bigger glob for the hand. What are you doing today, Moody? How's your day been? Just vibing? I feel it. Right on. I can get behind it. So the hand should be kind of trapezoid shaped. Cut a little bit taller on one side, kind of like that. We're just going to get our rough blocks for starters. It's mega dark, I'm playing chill music, the world is quiet. Sounds like a pretty damn good evening to me. It's a good way to hang out. Much needed for me. Today was a stressful one, but it's good to be back and chilling. So I think I want this to end up being about half the thickness that it is right now, so that he's got some nice spindly fingers. Ooh, yeah, put on a kettle of tea. Good idea. Just gonna peel this strip off here because I don't want to get it all wrapped up in my clay. Meanwhile, I think I'm going to take this most of the way down, but probably keep it a little bit on the fat side, right? Because then I can I have some wiggle room to work with to trim things down. I don't like that this little piece got wrapped up, so I'm just going to clip that end off of there. I guess I could put my white plastic down. Looks a little bright on camera. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Okay. I want to let this cool a little bit so that I can actually carve it, because I was just working that. But that's going to be my rough shape, and then we're going to carve it down. So I'm going to try to do the same thing with the fingers here. Picking my tool of choice for the clipping here. I think I'm gonna go with this one. So if we're looking at this for reference as our hand, I don't know which hand this is yet, but I think we're gonna go with that size for the thumb. Again, we want to be a little bit on the long side. So we'll say thumb. And then these we really can just make the same length, and then work down the light variation into them after. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we'll work them a little bit now, at least get them down to a rough point on one end, and then we're going to kind of try to attach them and wiggle them. So I'm just going to like roll this down. This is the thumb, so this one can be a little bit rounder. Ooh, vanilla chai. Sounds really good. Decaf, or are we just going for it? We partying. Full black, alright. That's what I'm talking about. You know how to party. Figure we got 3 hours. It should be fine. Yeah, that's true. We got some time. We're just getting going. I'm still deciding whether we're going to do more Breath of the Wild tomorrow, or if we're going to check out that game you sent me from the World of Goo people. It's a tough call. Not really sure. You eat copious amounts of chocolate anyways, and that's a lot of caffeine. I had no idea there was caffeine in chocolate. I mean, I assume there are, like, small amounts of it in things other than, like, you know, main caffeine products, but I never really considered that there was a reasonable amount of it in chocolate. I did not know that. Might as well finish the game I've started. I don't know, I'm pretty good at not finishing things. It's pretty on brand for me. But you're right, you're right. We've only got, I swear we've only got a couple streams left before I'm finally free. Okay. Can I zoom in any more than this? Because this is going to be a teeny tiny little bit of the project here, so I might as well get as close as I can. I actually need to bring the camera more up and over so that it can see better. Hold on to your stomach. There's 9 milligrams of caffeine in 1 bar of chocolate. Holy shit. That is a lot more than I thought. Milk chocolate. Is dark chocolate more or less caffeine? More in dark. That makes sense. Dark is stronger. It's a more intense flavor. Not that I dislike it, but it is more passionate. A lot more. How much is a lot more? What are we talking? Oh, and then I also need to bring my light up. That's part of the problem here. 70. Good lord. Is a bar of chocolate like a standard measurement? Are they always the same? Like how many? How big of a bar of chocolate are we talking here? There we go. Light's a little higher up now. That'll help. Okay, so we got our thumb, and then we can kind of, I guess, organize these. No, they're all still pretty much the same length, aren't they? Which I suppose would make sense. They started the same length and I did the same operation on them, so why wouldn't they end the same length? Well, I guess we did already decide, because one side of this is a little bit longer, so I guess this has to be... Well, you could flip it, but I think we're going to go ahead and make this the right hand anyway. So first thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of a concavity in there just by pushing in with my finger. And then we're going to try and actually sculpt this out. This is going to be hard. Today is going to be most likely a lot of trial and error. Go. The data you were looking at was different sizes. It's actually 9 versus 21. Okay, that seems a little more reasonable. Nine versus 70 is like that's a substantial difference. still pretty soft, so I gotta be gentle with it. Hot water secured. T sequence initiating. I'm gonna put these fingers off to the side because I feel like I'm gonna fuck them up by them just chilling there. I might need to be doing this part with the needle. There is one that ends in just basically a needle, so maybe I should be using that. Concavity there, but let's do one thing at a time. Right, there we go. Yeah, I think the needle is going to be the way to do it. Botman, set a timer for 4 minutes. Ooh, that'd be a really handy feature. That should be pretty easy to implement too. He really should start commands with Botman. Although that would probably annoy people. There could be some that we set with Botman. Or it could be optional. I did go and update his quotes list. I got that done right before the stream today. So it matches the list on well, and it probably still needs to be updated, but it matches at least the quote list online. And then I added the new one at the end. But we can always shift it down the line. That's the nice thing, is that list is all very nice and manually editable now. In a convenient JSON file. I never know if I should say JSON or JSON. Neither seems right to me. I'm feeling hungry. I had a vegetarian meal for dinner tonight, which is something I rarely, if ever, do. I have a fairly large appetite, and eating a main meal that doesn't include a meat substance of some kind is a tough one for me. But I'm trying to lose weight, and it's good for me. So, c'est la vie, as they say. Would have been vegetarian or vegan? I guess I'd have to double check. think it might have been vegan. So there's definitely no meat. Oh, no, it wouldn't be vegan. I had sour cream. Just a little bit, but I'm pretty sure there's no just a little bit clause in veganism. Seems pretty cut and dried. So this will be where the thumb is, so we want like kind of a big section of meaty handness right there, and then this part can come down a little lower, should have creases like that maybe. Maybe one more there. No. We'll just do those lumps. So we're gonna go back to the, I think the hook piece. I'm gonna have to switch between tools a lot for this, I think. Because with this little clay, I really have to mean everything I do. I think we're off to an okay start, though. If we do end up moving, or the next time I get the chance to set up an entertainment system, which, you know, either way. I have this plan to set up like a central hub. Someday I'll be able to drink this tea much too hot. Soon enough, Moody. All it takes is patience and a little bit of hope. You'll get there. But yeah, I have this idea to set up like a central media computer, or like a Roku and Raspberry Pi combo. So that I can have all of my media at one location. And then route that out to different locations around the apartment. But I'd need to figure out a way to pass the remote signal through. I don't know how hard that would be. It might not be that hard. But if I could make that work, I definitely would. That's too efficient. You'll just sit at the one location and never move again. No, the hope is that it gives me freedom, Moody. The hope is it means I can get up and move to other parts of the apartment and just continue where I left off on stuff. Because I lose track of what I'm doing so often, it gets very frustrating. And if it was all more interconnected, I like to hope and pretend that that would make the situation better. I don't know if that's true, but can't fail until you try. I feel like this might be working. It also kind of looks like I'm just making very tiny abs. But that's okay. This is going to need to be a little bit thinner. So we're going to kind of try to just shave our way down. Continue working on Botman's AI abilities until he can play an extremely loud, incorrect buzzer every time you move locations and start the wrong task. There you go. I just need to write a piece of code that can be my frontal cortex for me. Who needs a fully functional dopaminergic system if you have a few lines of C# script? I think he could do it. I have faith in Botman. All I need to do is get him to the point where he's writing his own code. We'll call that method UE Middle Manager. And it will run non-stop. UE Middle Manager. I like it. I support it. We are eventually going to make the top lumps shorter. Like right now the grooves are way too exaggerated. I can't really do that without taking it out of focus, but you kind of see what I mean. But I want to thin out the whole hand and have this section of palm be much bigger and more pronounced than the rest. So we're going to try and just work our way into it. I don't know if it's going to actually happen. But that is our objective. That is the prime directive. This really should start just a little bit lower. Like there. I saw there was a trailer for that 90s show, which is a reboot I'm not particularly interested in. I didn't watch the original show, but the one thing I do fear is having that show exist again, except all of the references are things that I get. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think I like that at all. Because I lived in 5 years of the 90s, so I'll definitely get some of it. They just need to not do it again in another 20 years. I need that promise. Because that won't be good for me. My hands need to be colder than this. Yeah, that TENS show, I guess. Oh. Dishwasher's done. I can turn this up a little bit now. Please excuse any ruffling on the camera. Or on the microphone, I mean. Is that better? Little more audible. And speaking of which, this stream is brought to you, but no, I'm just kidding. I had Stream Elements offer me, it's like, oh, you can advertise for, it was for HelloFresh. And I genuinely thought about it. I'm like, I mean, free money. But it's based on how many people I can get to sign up. And I just don't think I'm pushy enough. I was hoping it was just like, if you talk about it enough times, we'll give you money. And it doesn't work that way. You can hear me over the music again? That's good. It was only the first half hour of the stream. And I never say anything important anyway. Every word that comes out of my mouth is garbage. There we go. Sorry, I had to have the music up high, otherwise it wouldn't drown out the dishwasher enough. But we're grooving now. I need this, but smaller. I have that. Where is that? Where is that tool? That is a tool I definitely actually do have. Maybe. Also maybe. Huh, that'll work. Oh. Fucking numbskull. The one I was looking for is right here. It was just sitting next to me. But this one's actually going to be better because it's pointy. So it was a good thing I searched. A little bit pointy is good for us right now. There we go. I think I need to soften this top shape a little bit. Just lower it down. It's kind of working though. I am still, I've finished my my scar sculptures, and it is time to pour them. But I have an experiment that I'm going to try with those. So I'm getting something else prepared before I actually finish those up. Because I was trying to get them done by Halloween, but since that didn't happen, I can make something more interesting out of that project that'll be interesting regardless of what time of year it is. At least in theory. There's no way to know, but hopefully. So I'm just flattening those down so they're a little bit shorter. And then we're going to flesh the shape of those grooves back out. I really think this needs to go even lower. It feels like undoing a lot of progress, but we don't want those shapes to be as pronounced as they were, so it's not really undoing anything. It's making the shape more accurate at the end of the day. Ooh, there we go. That's looking pretty good. Should probably clear something up. Ah, I was wondering when you'd say that. I thought that might be happening. So I should be saying melody. Should I also be saying she or they, or what's the story? Now it's like Twitch is a parent. I'm in trouble with full naming me. Yeah, I had a feeling that might be what was happening there. I say just go for it, and I mean, in another, what, 30 days, you could switch it to just Melody Maple. I say just go for the full name switch. Melody Maple Moody, go to your room this instant. No one ever checks your Discord bio, but it's she, her. You're already used to being moody online most of my life, so I'll respond to any of the 3 M's. Okay, well, I will make sure to get that right. As you know, I fumble my words a lot, but I will happily correct myself. And thank you for being comfortable enough to tell me outright. That's very nice. I'm bad about checking things just kind of in general. I feel like the second fold, like here, is not quite looking right. Maybe it's too fatty, because like it doesn't get that big, right? You've got kind of like this section here. I guess people's hands are different, but you've kind of got one lump here that's like across these 3 fingers. You've got one here. You've got one on the thumb, and then there's kind of a second fold here, and then a third section, or fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth section here. But maybe this needs to be less pronounced. if I just lower this down. It is supposed to be like... Online isn't exactly fair. Been trying to ditch your old name everywhere you could IRL and go by Moody. Ah, that's a good strategy. So, I hesitate to ask. I know your home situation. I imagine that's not a particularly easy discussion to have if you've had it. But I hope that... Well, I hope that at least going by Moody is helpful. Again, I don't mean to pry, I just would imagine that that might not be the easiest. It's not great here. That convo is coming pretty soon because I've really kind of lost my mind over the last couple semesters. Yeah. I mean, it's... I can't speak to it firsthand, but I got to imagine it'll be a relief to rip the Band-Aid off and have the conversation. Well, you know I'm here for you, and I'm sure, you know, everybody else in the community is too. I don't envy having that discussion, but I admire the bravery. Do you think they have any idea, or have you been pretty quiet about it, masking? You've known for years, but never been bold enough to go against all your parents' stances on things until now. You've pushed yourself into a corner of having to do it. Well, I mean, it's much better to just be who you are. That's the right thing for you, just health-wise. I got to imagine you're about ready to explode, knowing that for that long, and I hope you're doing all right. Do you have IRL friends that know, or are you like me without very many IRL friends, or? Drop more hints over time that something's going on there, but you don't see it going well. Worst comes to worst, you got a few friends who you could borrow a couch from, or your recent interest in camping, which is now explained. Yeah, that would make a little bit more sense. Yeah, I'd had my suspicions, but I never bothered to check your bio because I didn't think, and I didn't want to. I don't like to pry. It seemed like that was the case for quite a while now. So I'm sure you can tell I'm not exactly surprised. Well, I hope you're being careful if you're doing that kind of camping. I would push for the friend's couch first. Thing is, you have really no idea how it'll go, which makes it harder to think about. If you knew it was going to be awful, at least you'd know. I can kind of understand that. Yeah. Not knowing, and even not necessarily exactly how it will go, or like I'm sorry, but whether or not it'll go well, but like exactly how it'll go, what'll happen, what'll be said. I can see how that could be pretty anxiety provoking. Sounds like you're just about at your limit with that patience. Instead of doing that, I'm drinking tea. Tea is like liquid closure, so that's perfect. I need a different tool here. There it is. This is the one. I gotta say, I'm feeling like this hand is actually working. Which I'm a little surprised about. I want to be really happy with this palm section before I move on, because it's going to be a lot harder to do what I'm doing right now after there are fingers attached. And this would, I guess, yeah, this again is his right hand. Could also be something I scraped off the bottom of the desk. It can be two things. It can be two things. When you point it out, you may be more than accurate, but it's also a hand. If you think about it, your palm is nothing but a giant pile of flesh-flavored chewing gum. Where does the gum even come from? No one chews gum anymore, and the ones that do always seem really good about keeping the wrapper. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a person that still chews gum, but I'm also a fairly clean person when it comes to like food and germ related things. I'm not as clean as Emily, but I'm up there. Yeah, I don't know who's out here just sticking gum to the underside of a desk. Although I do think they're, well, first of all, if you're in college or high school, those desks have probably been there since like the 80s. So there's that. But there's also the fact that teenagers are rotten, and they'll go out of their way to purchase gum just so that they could stick it to the underside of a desk. So keep that in mind too. Sure, the desks are old, but somehow you only ever end up touching the fresh ones. I think they retain a magical little bit of moisture that never fully leaves. I think it's a part of school lore that the chewing gum just kind of holds on to some of that freshness, a bit of the spirit of the student that left it behind. It's quite magical, really. It's definitely not bad. Tea is really just the perfect amount of bitter, huh? Yeah, I'm definitely more partial to tea than I am to coffee. I drink coffee if I need like the shock. You can get a little extra like ooh from coffee that you can't get from tea, or from most teas anyway. But tea is a comfortable amount of bitter. We're going to try and smooth out the back of this here without completely flattening the front. Hate coffee, tastes like burnt chocolate, and that's just a sad taste. I drank coffee a lot while I was working on set, and that was kind of it. It was just kind of part of the culture. Culture that I found I didn't quite enjoy being a part of for many reasons that weren't really coffee related. I've never actually had burnt chocolate, like real burnt chocolate before. a little too soft in some of these places. One thing I need to get myself, if I'm going to be doing more of this, is a hot plate. That's good. That means I haven't made mistakes baking while I was younger. I don't know if I've ever... I guess nothing really with chocolate. Not usually with overcooking. When I make mistakes, it's usually that I've undercooked something, which is good because that's a mistake that you can often fix with a little more time. But I'm a pretty anxious, cautious person, so unless I've forgotten because my brain has wandered off to other lands, generally speaking, I tend to undercook. Unless it's a souffle, true. But souffle is not a thing I would ever attempt. Emily, have you ever made a souffle?
A souffle?
Yeah.
Maybe like once.
Maybe once. I would never attempt such a feat. Chocolate souffle? Yeah, that's the way to do it. Have you made souffles before, Moody? Or have you just had them? We're getting there. I gotta be so careful. I'm just barely grazing the tool against the clay. It's very stressful. Not a real one. You've made some cheat ones, but it's still a bit of effort that you don't want to deal with usually. Yeah, that's kind of where I land with most baking, actually. I can do some of the easy stuff. I know you do much more baking. Emily does a lot of baking, too. I can cook decent breakfast, which we've now demonstrated live on camera. I can make burgers, which I guess I've also demonstrated on camera. I guess most like savory foods I can do as long as I have instructions. I don't really have much of a problem. For some reason, the instructions for baking don't seem to register in my brain. My brain likes to make its own instructions when it comes to anything that is laden with sugar or otherwise treatly. Baking is precise chemistry, not completely cooking. Yeah, it is. It is very exact, which is something Emily has told me multiple times. That you have to get it exactly right. But if you can follow instructions really, really well and precisely, then you're not going to have a problem. So apparently that's what I have issues with. Cooking lets me wing it a little bit. And personally, I'm a winging it kind of dude. I wouldn't have made a good chemist. In fact, I know for a fact I didn't make a good chemist when I took chemistry. That was I did fairly well in school. That was the first time I ever got a C in a class. I had gotten all A's and B's until what would that be? My junior year of high school. And I took AP chemistry, or app chemistry, as some might call it. And yeah, she didn't like me very much. She was a very good teacher. It wasn't her fault. But you nearly failed AP chemistry. It's a hard class. It's a really hard class. And of course, everybody in that class, other than me, was like some kind of wonderkind. So I was like this just normal-brained person. It was super rigged though, because all the labs were based on color changes and you're colorblind. Well, yeah, that'll fuck you over. That's a completely different beast. That's not very fair at all. That shouldn't even count. It's getting a little too warm again. I gotta cool down. Refirm. I hope I'm not attaching these too early. I don't think I am. Because after, well, we've got the shoes on. They're not perfect, and they don't look like wingtips, which is what they were supposed to look like. But I was thinking of the wrong shoe when I was cutting out the pieces. They might be salvageable. Just have to kind of round them out on the nose a little bit. I would say this looks like part of a hand. But yeah, after the shoes and the hands, I've got to do his jacket that's around his waist, and that's kind of it. We can move on to Opal. And I imagine Opal as a shorter, somewhat stocky woman. I still can't decide. There's one more main character named Bobby, and I'm struggling with his body type. It's not something I've ever really thought about. I mean, like, I mused about it, but it was supposed to be a TV show. And I personally think that, like, over emphasizing, like, somebody's appearance for casting is not really a great idea. It's just... It's the performance that matters, you know? So I don't want to say like, oh, well, that's what Tucker looks like, and then kind of lock yourself in. But I had to decide on actual appearances for these characters. Baking and cooking both come pretty easily to you. You grew up watching Food Network instead of fun shows like half the time. Maybe three-way split of Food Network, Discovery, Science, History, and Cartoons/Entertainment. That's a pretty good way to split it up. I didn't watch much Food Network. I watched a lot of cartoons, and I still do to this day. I watched a lot of sitcoms with my mom. I'm gonna watch them with the family too, like at dinner and stuff, but mostly I watch those with my mom. And then probably like you, Science, Discovery. Lots of like Mythbusters and how it's made, and like History Channel stuff. My favorite cartoon, though, basically from junior high school until I went to college, was The Simpsons. I was like an encyclopedia of The Simpsons. But a lot has happened in the show since then, and I have no idea what the hell's going on. All the sciencey channels are awful these days. Nebula is pretty tight, though. Nebula is that, and this is not a promotion, although it sounds like one. It's like that streaming service. Is it Nebula or the one that's like paired with it? One of them's a science and documentary streaming service, and one of them is kind of a hub for YouTube unsafe, or like, you know, just, I guess, additional paid content from science YouTubers and stuff like that. The one that Tier Zoo is always partnering with, I don't think so. I don't think that's the one. Because it's Nebula and Curiosity Stream. That's what it is. Got it. There's this like Chadley lawyer guy that I watch that promotes it all the time because he's on the YouTuber one. Oh, Tier Zoo is a person. Who's Tier Zoo? I'm sorry. I know it from, I think, what, Tom Scott, I think, Legal Eagle was the lawyer I was talking about. I'd love to binge that channel. I would. Tier Zoo. Let me write that down. With my phone. I'll check it out. Makes tier lists of animals comparing their stats and abilities as if the world is an MMO. That sounds awesome. And extremely educational. If I can get behind it. Is this where some of your animal facts come from? started following that Legal Eagle guy because he does pretty good cliff notes of stuff that's going on in the legal world. Like Trump lawsuits and shit like that are why I found him in the first place. But he also does these really great, like, almost true crimey narrative things where he talks about weird court cases and, like, court cases that went wrong and stuff like that, which I find very interesting. I wish Tom Scott would talk about his area of expertise more often, which is he's a linguist, and he talks about it a fair bit, but I would like more. Some of them, but you've been in love with animals almost literally your whole life, so you've picked up a lot over time. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll cause you to absorb some information for sure. Okay, we're gonna be bold here. Be like Bob Ross and be bold. I'm gonna cut this section down a little bit. Oh, that's nerve-wracking. Okay. That was your favorite book for a while. A hand-illustrated encyclopedia of animals and its companion book, the same but for dinosaurs. Oh, very cool. I never really had, like, a dinosaur phase. I feel like most kids do. Don't know where it ended up after you moved in 8th grade, though. It's out there somewhere. It's bringing someone knowledge wherever it is. It's moved on. It's like Woody. It's been passed on to some other child in need of animal facts. Tom Scott seems to be having fun traveling the world while he still can. Probably more entertaining than talking about work. True. And I love his traveling videos. He said that he's winding down, though. I think end of 2023, the weekly videos stop. So, but he's been at it for about a decade. So that makes sense. Gotta take it easy at some point. He's a very active person. Gets a lot of work done. Oh yeah, look at that gross, super long fingernail. I promise I don't do cocaine. My pinky is actually my shortest nail, so I clearly don't do cocaine. Yeah, I just watched a new one from Tom with the Canadian high diver. That was a very interesting video that made my stomach turn when I watched it. Did the high dive off of a 20 meter high dive. I have 2 local topics I could send him, but they don't fit his usual format very well, so I've got to sit on them till your friend is ready to make this documentary you've been discussing. Oh, you and Jeff are figuring out a documentary. What's the subject? Or is it like hush hush secrets? That sounds like fun. I took a doc class while I was in school and made what was basically a news puff piece on a local brewery. Well, more properly documentary format. If I get either of you going on it, you'll talk my ear off for an hour. Talk my ear off. I guess you probably don't want to type at all. We can convene on the server. Oh shit, I'm off the screen. Well, if you want to talk about it, if you are willing to type, I'm very curious. This is looking more like a palm. Like you can kind of see where I'm going with that. Still needs a little more shape cut out of it. But it's getting super close. I really don't want to start putting fingers on until I'm happy about where we're at. But I very much do want him to have 5 fingers. So I'm going to space out those digits. Started with you looking into this dead guy named Jed Johnson and led into this crazy multi-lawsuit corruption / fraud scandal in a tiny town in Oklahoma. Oh, shit. That's crazy. So how did... if I want to know, how did the conversation about Jed Johnson start in the first place? What I'm trying to imply here is one of you knows something. It really just depends on who started the conversation. Did that soup leave you hungry, Emily?
You're looking for food.
Yeah.
You still have some turkey left from last week.
I do?
Yeah.
Okay. You think you're probably the world's foremost experts in Jed Johnson outside of his remaining family. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know how to take that. I probably shouldn't eat anything, I'm just bitching about it. I accidentally ate vegetarian and I think I'm already starting to wither away. So nobody else has really hopped onto this incident. How long ago did Jed Johnson die? There's this wildlife refuge in the mountains that you enjoy visiting to hike and explore, and inside of it is a lake, dam, and a tower all named after him. Oh, so you want to know who the guy was? Yeah, well, that's only natural. I don't know where else that would take you. And so then you found out about this guy's like elaborate lawsuit. So was he killed because of the scandal, or was the scandal like what happened first, the scandal or the death? I may not be very tactful about this here, but damn it, I want answers. I think we need the straight scraper here. It's getting really close. I might be willing to try to put fingers on soon. The scandal is completely disconnected from him. You spending so much time researching him in the surrounding area led you to find out about the scandal in the town inside the refuge called Medicine Park. What in the world? This is truly an adventure. You have something here. Separate the knuckles here. Should be 3 trenches like that. Can you see what I'm doing even? Oh, you kind of can. Yeah, so I'm just kind of scoring 3 little spots in here. With the extra one for the finger, the index finger. The finger. There's just one on each hand. Like that. I'd originally thought he was going to be a 5-fingered person, but now I'm going for 2, finger and thumb. That's how everybody in their universe naturally looks. What do we got here? I'm trying to think of just the right tool to do this with. And I think the little scoopy dealy. So I've got this scoop, right? Which is pretty good. But I think I've got a finer one. I thought I took it out already, but it doesn't look like it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, see? That scoop. Little teeny tiny scoop. Okay. So, much better to work with. So that's interesting. So the Jed Johnson of it all really just is the jumping off point. Kind of what engages you with the story. You dramatically introduce Jed. There's so many details, but the shortest you can come up with is that the chief of the fire department has allegations against him about disregarding building codes for his own projects and using his men to swing local elections into allowing him to rezone and construct whatever he wants anywhere in town. And a small business owner in town has gotten fed up with it and has been documenting her legal battle online. Oh my god. Wait, so this is like currently happening? I thought this was like history that you discovered about your hometown or about your home state. You get updates monthly. Honestly, this sounds exactly like something Legal Eagle would be interested in. I know you were talking about Tom Scott earlier, but this is the exact kind of weird case that he loves to talk about. So does she know that you're following her? It's an incredibly wild ride to sort through with so many moving parts and characters. It sounds extremely elaborate. I need to know if this woman knows that you and Jeff have been following them. Where? She has no idea you exist. Miraculous. That this is amazing. How is Jeff, by the way? How did his stream go tonight? I saw he was on while I was at work. You tried to visit her in the spring, but her cafe was closed at the time. So are you going to try again then? Pretty sure I've heard this song used in YouTube videos. This royalty-free music service has worked out pretty nicely. It just helps to have some, like, background noise, you know? Because when I'm working on something like this, I just kind of zone out into what I'm doing, so at least it doesn't go completely silent. Most recent detail to come up is that her and all her staff members are now banned from the local mini golf course that isn't even open yet. That's called efficient work right there. She and her crew get shit done. Getting banned before a place is even open is a hell of an achievement. I'm wondering if I use this in a YouTube video. Or maybe I didn't actually use it, but I was making the video. I feel like I might have done this because I had been editing the time lapse of building Spawn Island. But it just wasn't interesting enough. Like, for me. I wasn't excited enough about it. That's something I'm probably going to go back to on the server. I do miss working on my precious baby Spawn Island. I do plan on coming back, but Emily and I are figuring out a bunch of stuff with the move and things like that right now, so I'm keeping to the basics. But when I come back, I'm probably going to be working on Spawn Island, because I really do love working on that project. And I miss it. It's looking knuckly. There's been a recent twist on both sides where the fire department has an embezzling problem and the regional water company is fighting them over some illegal hydrants. Meanwhile, other local businesses are turning on the one business owner lady and banning her from their locations until she stops causing drama or whatever. Oh my god. This woman is trouble. I like her. She's not fucking around. That looks very knuckly. I'm pretty happy with that. We've been just slowly edging up on it, but it's taking shape. Like, it definitely feels much more... I mean, it also still looks like chewing gum or possibly a molar. But it looks a lot better now. And she's the one that called the regional water company about it. Looks like a level 1 Sporefoot, totally. 100%. I don't know if I'm going to play more Spore or not. I do have the advantage whenever I play it of being the only person on Twitch streaming Spore. So that's pretty handy. I still always wanted a sequel to it. I've seen a few people, in fact we even had one person in our stream the first time we played Spore, I remember, that like people like to mod it and try and make their own like Spore-like game. And I've not seen anything that like really wowed me enough to try it out. No disrespect to the person who was visiting us. I'm a picky little princess, so. You've been following this story for about 3 years. And does it seem like she's making headway, or is you think she's just going to keep causing hell for people for the rest of time? His hand is supposed to be like kind of contorted, which means it'll be like that. So the fact that this is bulged up a little bit does make sense. It occurs to me you can't see my hand. So his hand's going to be like kind of like that, right? So you've got this bulge here, and it does kind of make sense. I just kind of need to like twist this a little bit, so that those knuckles are coming down a little bit more. And then just patch some of that up. But it looks... I mean, it looks pretty good. It even seems like it has knuckles. I'm gonna probably add more material to those knuckles, but I think we gotta add fingers. It's 10:30. I think we gotta add some fingers. But I am going to need to make a strong adhesive point. Which I think means I'm going to need some kind of heat source. I don't know if I have any lighters convenient. There's two major issues holding her back. The town's attorney keeps resigning like it's defense against the dark arts because no one ever wants to take on the case. And secondly, David McCoy, the fire chief. I love that you're like ready with names and everything. This is fantastic. Has all that political power in town and is able to effectively remove her motions from the town chamber meetings. Oh no. So it's like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, basically. Anything she does gets undone or undermined almost immediately. That takes a special kind of stubborn that is admirable. It's time. We need fingers. And this hand feels like proportion. Oh no. Oh, shit. Moody. Oh no. I have terrible news. Look at this hand. Okay. Look at that forearm. That's too small, right? That feels too small. I need to get further away from it. Yeah, so we got that body. And then we have... It's just the palm. I need to remember it's just the palm. Is that too small? It's a little too small, right? You have a solution. Drugs? I'm intrigued, but I don't follow your logic. Is that too small? If it's just the hand part of the hand, it might not be too small. Anything weird about his body? True, drugs are a part of his world. Although not as much as most of the other characters involved. It might actually be okay. Because then you've got fingers, right? That are doing finger things. Like, let's just temporarily stick this on here. So we'll stick a finger there. Just to give us an idea of how long his hand will be. That might actually be okay. It might just look short because it doesn't have any fingers on it. Emily, what do you think? Do you think his hands are too short, or like the hand part, like the palm part, is too small, or do you think it's just because it doesn't have any fingers? It's a little on the small side, isn't it?
I don't know. You should look up the math on that.
Why would I do that?
Check your portions.
That seems like way too much planning. I would much rather wing it and fail. Okay. We're just going to try and put fingers on this. The fingers seem a lot longer than the palm. But your fingers are a lot longer than your palm, right? No, they're the same length. Okay, but like... they're not really that much longer. It's pretty much the same. Especially after it gets mooshed in there. I'm gonna just put my head down and go for this. Is it a bad idea? Maybe. But we're in too deep now. Now we have to keep doing this for science. Okay. So now we're going to try and just... This song is like strangely eerie. Third mug of tea. Rock on. I respect the commitment. You keep teeing. If you like that, it should be out, yeah. I'm gonna try and do some light fusing, like just a little bit of a smear. At what point does it go from a teacup to a mug? I think it mostly depends on how much tea you put in it. Okay, this is probably going to be the hardest part for me. It should be halfway there and then halfway here. And then we want to stick that on there like that. We're going to lose some of our progress that we had in shaping, but it'll be worth it. After this is all nicely attached, I can tighten up the shapes, which I'm going to have to do with the fingers anyway, because right now that's just like a claw, but that's okay. So we want one hand, like a finger up, and the other three kind of gripping around at the thumb. So maybe I do want to bend this down more. Like I said, we'll undo some of our handiwork, but that's okay. Handiwork? Come on. Come on. That's a solid 3 out of 10. Yeah, so these should be just kind of curling around. Probably a little tighter. Gently. Gently. Heard about this new Nintendo Smash stuff? I know about Smash Brothers. I've heard that's catching on. Is that what you're talking about? Something new happened with Smash? Or is there new bullshit in the Smash community? Did somebody do something stupid again? Or no, last time it was Nintendo's fault, as is expected. Oh, Nintendo being awful to Smash fans again. Yeah, there you go. So it's a repeat. So what'd they do this time? That's immediately starting to look like a hand, I have to say. I'm gonna have to do a lot of smearing to adhere the rest of the finger, or all of the fingers, but it's not bad. Nope, my finger. What was it last time? Last time it was... They shut down some fan-run Smash event or something. Oh, that's not bad. It's really not bad. All major Smash tournaments are now canceled unless they're being held by a particular group called Panda, who is sponsored by Nintendo. Wow. So they did something shitty. Everybody hated them for it. And then they're like, let's double down. They refused to give licenses to anyone else to use their IP now. That sucks. So, like, are we talking cease and desist? Or are we talking just not supported anymore? So we've got that kind of a shape. That is definitely a hand. I feel a lot better about the handliness of this now. So you can still have your tournament, but you cannot advertise, upload, or stream any of it. Wow. That's bullshit. So here's a question. If I'm, like, just doing... Like, we've done silly little Smash... I guess, like, you could technically call them tournaments on my channel. Would we get, like, in trouble for that now? I mean, I know I'm tiny, but, like, theoretically, say a bigger streamer tried to do just, like, a friendly Smash tournament. Is it because there's money involved? Organizers suddenly lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in one day. That's awful. That's really, really terrible. Oh, this is going to be challenging. I need to try and adhere some of these lower parts. It looks alright, but it's not, like, attached. Is it just the big tournaments that are banned? Nintendo would likely get any revenue from that event, and if it was big enough, they could sue you for using their IP without permission. That is fucking bogus. I mean, I'll defend them every once in a while for, like, trying to defend their IP and some stuff like that I can understand the business decisions behind. This is fucking bogus. I have no explanation for that. That's just greedy. When in reality, they could make so much more money by stopping trying to be a console company and just producing their software to run on other people's hardware. They would make so much more money. Their hardware has been nothing but problematic. So now all the people and players working for the company are looking for new jobs and teams to go after their own livelihood has suddenly become public enemy number one. God. So how many different organizations get shut down by something like that? It's got to be, I mean, at least dozens, if not more. Em, are you going to bed?
Yeah.
Can I show you the hand first?
Yeah.
It's getting close.
Oh, look at that!
I know, right?
Got fingers on there.
It's very claw-like right now,
It
but
is.
we'll have to shave it down after it cools. It's very warm from being handled. Okay, I'm back. The one that was made an example of was the Smash World Tour, who got the cease and desist and open letter after being officially promoted by Nintendo over the last year. That's such a slap in the face. Hey, I know it's looked like we were on the same team for the last 11 months. But, now I'm going to tell you you can go fuck yourself and there's nothing you can do about it, and say goodbye to all of your money and livelihood. So many suspected some kind of insider deal with the Panda CEO since he's the only person who even knew about this happening. I wouldn't be at all surprised. That sounds like the exact kind of shady deal that makes bullshit like this happen. Yeah, that sounds pretty likely, unfortunately. Nintendo is just openly anti-consumer, and it doesn't matter. They still make billions regardless. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing. Again, though, I still think they would make more money if they would just stop with the console. I mean, it's not like it would stop them doing bullshit like this. But I think they should just stop with the consoles and focus on the software that makes them the money. But, you know, again, it wouldn't stop them from doing this kind of bullshit. Their software is sure doing well, cough, since Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, but what's the problem with that, right? Really, it's the hardware. I mean, I know other people have gotten things to run fine on that hardware. But, you know, it's running fine on the emulators. Oh, shit. I'm having trouble getting this finger to stay. Okay, I'm gonna have to reattach these. That sucked because it seemed like we were doing well, but I need to do this again correctly. There needs to be some heat involved. Like if they had just concentrated, well, and also Game Freak is a big part of the problem with Pokemon. Xenoblade 3 look like entirely different consoles compared to anything Pokemon has done. Yeah, but again, that's Game Freak more than it is Nintendo, right? I need to find something I can generate some heat with. Hold on a second, I'm gonna grab my lighter. Okay, I'm back. Austin's having a smoke break. No. No. Not today. Okay. So in order to make these really stick, I need to like heat up the end of it a little bit. So it softens. And do the same to the finger. And then stick them on. This is really weird. What's weird? You're not used to being the only person in the chat the entire stream? Yeah, it's a quiet one today. We're hanging out. I'm having a good time. Wonder what everyone's up to. Yeah, I don't know. Folks must just be busy. Well, and Thursday nights are one of the quieter streams anyway. We're usually busiest on Monday because that's the longer one and starts earlier in the day, and then on Friday. I'm sure we'll see some more folks tomorrow. Let's try this again. Yeah, Corey's been out. I hope they're doing alright. I'm sure it's just life stuff. But it would be good to see them around again. A little bit too hot there. I think, yeah, this is the finger I'm looking for. Oop, didn't mean to burn it. It's hard to get the flame close enough to that without burning myself. Every time I get it close enough, it's dancing a little too close to my hand. There we go. That was pretty good. That stuck pretty well. Okay. These already feel a lot less likely to pop off. Angry Anteater? That's what it looks like? Get a lot of this inside stuff smoothed out before I bring the next piece in. Yeah, it's going to get my ants angrily. My ants will fight valiantly. They will not be vanquished. Okay. This could work. It's the cycles of heating and cooling that I need to keep in mind. And I should fight this urge to do any details yet, because I'm going to keep applying more heat, which is just going to degrade all those details. The rough shape that we got on the bottom of the hand is still there, but I'm definitely going to need to tighten that back up again after all of this mooshing. I don't think I really need to heat the hand part. I think just this part is enough. I just need to hold it in the right way. There we go. Don't burn, don't burn. Just melt. Just melt. That's all we need. Oh, 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 careful, careful, careful. Okay, here we go. No! It was working. I probably need to reheat after that. Damn. I'll draw that back out. Okay. You know, I know you usually have to leave the Thursday ones a little bit earlier, so you won't be hurting my feelings. If that's why you're wondering about the other folks. I'm happy to have you here. But you know me, I don't like people to feel pressured. Carefully, no burning. Well, that didn't do great, but I think we'll have to live with it. Oh, shit. Didn't mean to do that. It is getting there, though. It's close. This melting method is working way better. The fingers are feeling much more solidly attached. Gotta get up in a little over 6 hours. No worries, Moody. I'm just gonna be here plugging along for the folks who are in the VOD. So, not a problem. It was good chatting with you. I'll be shouting obscenities into the void. It's what I do. I do that whether I'm streaming or not, so no worries. And I'll probably just wrap it up a little bit early anyway, maybe in like 20 minutes. So, never fear, Moody. You have a good night. And have a good time at school tomorrow. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with how this has gone. Thanks, Moody. We'll see you tomorrow, I hope. And good luck with class. Have a good night. I'm gonna keep trying not to burn my own fingies off in the process. with minimal success. Okay. No burning, no burning, no burning. Careful. Careful. That's starting to get warm enough. That burned a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna say that'll do it. And we just want to stick that right there. This finger feels too big. The pinky should definitely be smaller than the rest of the fingers. Okay, try again with that. Trying to just barely grace it with the fire there, and then we want it on like this. And we're just gonna have to clean that up a little bit. It does feel like I'm pretty close here. It needs like some extra mass added on here and there, but overall, it's not bad. Just gonna heat up a piece here to kind of use as connective tissue. So I want to just get this bit like really melty. And we're going to try to connect the hand. That's what happens next here. Because from here on out, I think I would do better to have some stable contact to work with. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of smear this onto the end here. And then try and just stick the hand on in the position I'm going for. And right now the hand looks a little squishy, but we're gonna work on sculpting some details into it there. I'm just going to get some more of this really liquidy stuff and just kind of fill in the gaps. I feel like his hands might still look a little bit small. I hate for it to be a wasted stream, and it's really not, because like sometimes you just gotta redo stuff, you know. But I had to kind of see this through to figure out whether or not it was gonna work. And I gotta be honest, I'm not married to it. Like it's not awful, but it's not great. And I don't think it's because the fingers are a little too pudgy. I think all the way back when I said that hand was a little too small. I think it was. So I'm probably going to have to redo this. I'll likely do that part off stream. So the next Tucker stream, hopefully he'll already have hands. And then we'll do his sleeves and his jacket, or at least one of the two. But since we've gone quiet, I think I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight for this evening. I do appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Those of you who might be there watching live or chilling in the VOD, getting some Z's while you're listening to me pluck away at this sculpture. Thanks for chilling with me. It's been a blast as always. We'll be back tomorrow with some Breath of the Wild. So I hope you have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.